Hi everybody, it is time for writing. So today you read the story, Superheroes Are Everywhere. And I hope you had a chance to think about who your superhero is. So before we start our writing, we are going to review our Fab 5 for writing. Hopefully you have this paper at home to help you. It's also on Canvas if you need to print it or look at it. So number 1, we need to stretch out your words. That is the first in our Fab 5. So we stretch it out like we have a rubber band. At, cat. And we write each of those letters on our paper that make that sound. Number 2, use capital letters at the beginning of your sentences and proper nouns. So, whenever we start a sentence, we always start with a capital letter, like we did here for my. Because that is the first letter in our sentence, so it needs to be capitalized. If we wrote someone's name or your name or the state, you would make it capitalized, even if it's in the middle of a sentence. Very important. Number 3, use finger spaces. You can use 2 finger spaces. You can use a popsicle stick, okay? Put spaces between your words so we know where the word starts and where it ends. Number 4, use punctuation marks at the end. If you're telling somebody something, you're going to put a period. I went to the store. That gets a period. If you are asking a question, what is your name? That would get a question mark. If you are excited or yelling, that would get an exclamation mark. Surprise! That would get an exclamation mark. Okay? So punctuation is very important. It tells us where our thought in writing has ended. It tells us where to stop, take a breath, and then we can keep reading. Number 5, very important, check your work. Does it make sense? Sometimes when we're writing, we may write too fast, so we have to go back and check our work and think about it. Does it sound right? Does it make sense? Okay? So remember, the same things are on here. So today we're going to do our writing about our superhero. I have my paper here. Yours will look a little different. You will have the student paper. So I need to move this up a little bit. So I'm going to move the Fab 5 down. That way I could still see them, but I want my writing up here. Move this so y'all can see it. Fab 5. So here I drew a little box. This box is for our sketch. So I'm thinking about my superhero. My superhero is my dad. My dad. It could be your mom. It could be your dad. It could be a firefighter. It could be your teacher. It could be a nurse or a doctor. Anybody could be a superhero. Someone that is brave, someone that protects you and takes care of you. So I'm going to do my sketch. And remember, when we sketch something, we don't need to use crayons. We can just use our pencil, and it's a quick sketch. And I'm not an artist, so I'm just going to do a quick sketch. And this is my dad. So he has a head, and I'm going to give him some hair. Okay? And he has eyes and a nose and a mouth. And I'm going to give him a neck. And I'm going to give him a shirt. I'm just going to do a square. And I'm going to give him some pants because my dad likes to wear pants. And then he needs some feet with his shoes on. Ooh, there we go. And he needs some arms, right? Gotta have some arms and some hands. That's my dad. And we're gonna put him standing on something. And maybe I'll just draw my house real fast, just because. And I need to label this, okay? So I'm gonna put an arrow, and I'm gonna put dad, and I'm gonna stretch it out, because that's what good writers do. So I'm gonna listen, D makes that sound. So I'm gonna put a D, ah, that's an A, another D. So I write those letters, D-A-D, dad. And I might put, do I need to label the house? I should. I'm not going to write about the house. I don't know why I put that. He's kind of leaving the house because he's going to work. So I could put a car here and him getting in it, but that's okay. Or I could say this is his job instead of like where we live. So maybe I will say work. I'll just say this is work. So I'll put an arrow here and I'll put work. So we got to stretch it out. W. That's a R. K. Work. All right, so he is my superhero. My dad is my superhero. So I'm going to write that sentence. So I remember in the Fab Five, it says start with a capital. So here's my paper. I'm going to use the lines to help me. I have a solid top line, because remember, we always start our letters at the top. I have a middle dotted. I know you can't see them. And I have a solid bottom line, just like you have on your paper. So I'm going to start over here, because we don't want to start right in the middle. We want to start on the edge. We start at the left. We go left to right. If we run out of room, we sweep back down. Okay, so I'm going to start right on this line. My, that's an M. My, my dad. Now, you don't need to do this, but if you want to copy my sentence and fill in your spots, you can fill in the spots where there's a line. So I'm going to put a line here. You don't need to do this. This is just telling you that if you want to write the same sentence as Mrs. Quassen, you can, but you need to change who your superhero is. So my dad, oh, we already did that. It's right here. And I'm talking about somebody, so I'm going to go ahead and make that capital. It doesn't really need to be, but I'm going to. My dad is, I have my spacer. I'm going to put a space. Is, I, makes that sound. S. My dad is, another space, my. We just wrote that word, so we're going to write it again. But this time, it's lowercase. I. My dad is my superhero. That's so long. But that word is on canvas, so if I wanted to look there, I could, and it could help me. Or I could just stretch it out, like our Fab Five says. So let's stretch it out. My superhero. S. Ooh, that's tricky. Ooh, it's a U. Ooh, P. Soup. Super. Hero. ear, E. We hear the E. Ear, R, O. My dad is my superhero. And that thought is done. So I could put a period because I'm telling you that my dad is my superhero. Now, Mrs. Clausen wanted to know who your superhero is and why they are your superhero. So I didn't tell you why, but I put work up here. So I am going to make another sentence. So my dad is my superhero because, I'm going to start with that. And I'm not sure if I could fit it here, so I'm going to go ahead and sweep down to the next line. Because this is a new sentence, we need to start with a capital. B, E, K, K. That's a C. B, K, Z. Because, now I need to tell you why. So I'm going to put a space because he, another space, works. Here's work. So I could copy that because I already stretched it out. This time I'm putting an S at the end. Because he works, I'm going to put another space, hard. H-R-D. Hard. All right. So I'm going to put a line here. You do not need to. And I'm going to put it here too. So if you choose to copy Mrs. Clausen's sentence, you can copy the ones here, and then you need to fill in the blanks. All right? So, did I finish my sentence? No, I did not. Because I didn't put my punctuation. So, I need to go back, and I love to keep going back and reading it to make sure it makes sense. That's part of checking your work. Because he works hard. So, then I'm telling you he works hard. I'm going to end with a period. Now I'm going to go back and read the whole thing to make sure it makes sense. My dad is my superhero because he works hard. Do I really need that period there? See, I'm checking my work, and I feel like I don't really need that period. That this could just be one big sentence. So I'm going to read it again. My dad is my superhero because he works hard. Yeah, I don't think we need that period. That means this would have to be lowercase. But, you know, I don't have an eraser, and I could just put an X on it and fix it, but Mrs. Clausen has boo-boo tape, so I'm going to fix it that way. Because I can't erase marker. So I'm going to use my special boo-boo tape, and we're going to put a little cover up right here because we don't want that period there. See, that's why we check our work. It doesn't make sense. And then we're going to fix this B because it needs to be lowercase. All right, there's our lowercase b. So now we can read it and see if it makes sense. My dad is my superhero because he works hard. Oh, that's so much better. I'm glad we checked our work. All right, I hope you have fun writing today, and I hope you enjoyed the story. I will see you in a little bit for math at 11:20. Have a great morning. Bye.